Hello. I need to make this a lot smaller. There we go. Okay, we're going to go talk about the flu epidemic of 1918. It's similar to the coronavirus, but not as bad. So we're gonna talk about this. Make it load up. May take a few seconds. There it is. So, okay, there we go. The flu epidemic of 1918. So, back in the day, we had, after World War One, I almost said two, World War One, we had a lot of our soldiers brought back a flu from Europe, which is also known as the Spanish flu, which we'll talk about here. So let me go to the next slide. So that's just a picture of a ambulance back in the teens, late teens. So the flu epidemic of 1918 ravaged World War I combats and cut its deadly path across America and the world. Further, it was significant even to build on for understanding and coping with the current outbreak of the H1N1, which happened in the early 2000s, like 2007, 2008, swine flu. We did have one then, but it wasn't as bad as this one. So, alright, the first case happened at Fort Riley, Kansas in March 1918, so started in the spring like the coronavirus did. Soldiers were complaining of sore throat, headache, and fever. By noon on the first day, the camp's hospital dealt with 100 serious ill soldiers, so it spread that quickly. Well, most of them had it already and just brought it back. At the week's end, the number of ill soldiers jumped to 500. The company called Albert Gitchell reported to the camp hospital suffering from a bad cold. The number of Red Cross nurses on hand very low. It wasn't as many then. Fell dramatically when soldiers started to fight in Europe. Back in the day, health stuff was not high tech as it was now. This was 102 years ago. Back then, if you had a disease, you were going to die because there was no way of helping you unless something magically happened. Incidents at Fort Riley marked the first domino of signaling at full terror the virus would bring. So this is just the beginnings of it. Some of the cases. Here's a picture of a hospital of some people trying to figure out how to solve this flu epidemic. It was very hard then to figure out stuff with very few technologies. That's just a picture. It was like a fire burning. July and August of 1918. So it has been, how many months is that? So it's been 4 to 5 months now. July, public health officials in Philadelphia made a bulletin about the flu and identified the strain of the virus and how contagion would be fought. So they figured out that it hasn't really gone away. It's kind of increased. The flu already had been named the Spanish flu. So, because it came from Europe, from the Spaniards. August 27th, sailors on the receiving ship at the Commonwealth Pier in Boston took ill. Many sick bay symptoms reported in the press. So, yeah. So 3 days later, 60 sailors on one ship were sick. So on the same ship, 3 days later, most of the sailors on that ship had it. It spread that quickly. They felt like they had been beaten all over it with a club. So there's some more pictures of some, looks like some old Fords, that were old ambulances. Dr. Victor Vaughn and Camp Divens. So that's probably them, probably right in there. In September, Dr. Vaughn, Surgeon General of the United States Army, had urgent orders to come to Camp Divens. So, so they had a call because it's probably spreading. On the first day after he arrived, 63 men died of influenza. So, I mean, it was just spreading that fast, guys. Looks like there's Dr. Victor Vaughn. He's long gone now. He looks like he's about probably 30 years old, maybe 40. I don't know. So this is one of the quotes they said. I saw hundreds of men, young stalwart men in uniform, coming in the wards of the hospital. Every bed was full, yet others crowded in. Faces were bluish cast. A cough brought up the blood-stained sputum in the morning. Dead bodies were stacked about the morgue of like cordwood. So there were so many people dying that they just couldn't keep up. And that's what they said today, that it was more... The coronavirus hasn't been as bad as the Spanish flu, because we have health stuff. But I mean, at one time there, we were losing a ton of people. So that's why we need to... that's why we have medical staff. And back then, if you got it, you were going to die, probably. So influenza causes global suffering, so it's spread worldwide. It's in Europe, everywhere. Civilians suffered from the perilous path that the flu would cut. So if you got it, you were going to die. There we go. Long arms of the flu extended beyond America and Europe to North Africa, India, China, Japan, New Zealand, and the Philippines. So it spread worldwide in a couple weeks. They figured out that everyone had it. One physician recalls that flu patients died struggling to clear their airways of a blood-tinged froth until they suffocate. It's outbreak number 5. Flu epidemic of 1918 cut short the lives of over 25 million people. 25 million people, guys. That's a lot. That's worldwide, though. That wasn't in the United States. Maybe it was. I don't know. There's a picture of what they had to move into large buildings and make them hospitals, and you can see it's completely full. There's probably 200 people in there. There's another picture right there. Have them all. They're all dying because you couldn't really. There was no treatment for it. So this is before it came. So it doesn't really come up that good, but this is what it was. It doesn't really come up that good. But here's the death rate. So people died during these times from it. Well, this is per 1,000 people. So then once you got to October 1918, about 50 people per every 1,000 people died from this flu. It's a lot of people. Statistics. Everyone on the planet was at risk. In Philadelphia, 158 of every 1,000 people died. Death toll for America was 850,000. Then estimates say that 25 million people died worldwide. worldwide. So we're not even close to this for the coronavirus yet. But we may get to it if we don't do anything. So we don't know. So modern day. Researchers are learning more about the 1918 influenza in preparation for a global outbreak of the H1N1, which is already affecting our community. There was a link discovered between the Spanish flu and the bird flu of 2007, which helped doctors treat the 2007 outbreak, which I was only 3 years old when that happened, so I don't really know much about it. One hopes that the same progress will be made with the H1N1. Still a lot of work. Still a lot of work to be done, but with little time to do it. So, of course, theme, natural and social environment, the conditions that the influenza brought affected the growth and development of America. Mortality rates increased. The atmosphere of the pandemic left deep scars in American history. Yeah. All right. That's the end of that. Whoa. So, a lot of things happened then, but we have figured out our problems and we have worked harder to stop viruses and flus, and we're getting better every day. So, hope you guys enjoyed this and have a good